They told me it wasn't no catching up, but just like it wasn't no room in the caddy, I had to lap them up. Now I'm in the gym doing 2-a-days. Push, push. Now I'm in the gym doing 2-a-days. Push, push.
And I'm getting money in any way. All I know is going getting paid. My moving weight like every day. Now I'm in the gym doing 2-a-days.
I'm in the gym doing 2-a-days. Push, push. I'm in the gym doing 2-a-days.
Let's run it up.
Guys, this is Carl Reed with my co-host, Carl Washington, in the Run Up the Score podcast. We got a special guest today from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the head football coach of Minneapolis North High School, Coach Charles Adams. How you doing, Coach?
I'm blessed, brothers. I'm blessed, man. I can't complain one bit, man. It's a blessing.
So, Coach, I met you at the Iowa Clinic of Champions, where they bring in a lot of coaches from around the state. I actually got an opportunity to meet with you and your dad, and who both happen to be police officers as well as coaching football, which is an interesting dynamic, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. First, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about your coaching background, kind of tell everybody where you've been in your career as a coach, and what led you to prominence, because you are the only public city school team in the state of Minnesota to ever win the state championship, which is a huge accomplishment that you got done. So kind of give the listeners your background, and then we're going to get into some other things.
Well, was born and raised on the north side of Minneapolis. My father, my mother, my uncles, we all went to North. Obviously played ball there. When I took over the program, it was struggling. I think the first year that I started coaching there, actually the coaching staff had left and went to another school, and they didn't have a head coach, so I stepped up because I was on the coaching staff as an assistant. I probably had 17 kids total. We won one game, and I didn't know how I was going to get guys to come out after winning one game with 17 people. But what I knew was that, kind of being persistent and letting kids know that we got a vision and we can make things better. Because I know the pride in our community. That was important to show that. But for the most part, things started off rocky. Winning one game, 2 games there, and then gradually everything started getting better into where, we were winning 10, 11 games, going to the state tournament the last 7 years in a row, winning conference championships, winning a state championship, and then losing a couple times in the state championship. But 3 out of 5 years being in that game, which is tough. But just, kind of just seeing the greatness in the kids that I have in this community and letting them know that you don't need to go out to the suburbs to have the opportunity to play on TV and to be recognized. So that's what really drives me to get these kids the opportunity to be in the limelight and have the colleges be able to, see their talents, also be heavy academic with these kids and getting them the recognition that they deserve.
Hey, Coach, you said you had 17 kids starting out. So what was the sales pitch to the kids? How did you get kids to come? What was your sales pitch?
Well, my daddy always told me, he said, man, if anybody going to take you serious, you got to run things official. So I was that year, I was working patrol during the summer. So I literally was like going to kids' houses, and everybody didn't answer the phone, obviously, or answer the doors, but the kids that I knew, and I'm like, hey, because I worked in the school too, so kids knew me, but I would just had to go recruit and tell kids like, hey, I'm the new head coach. Y'all know my energy. Trust me, it's going to be worth your while. Just come out and let's do it. Parents, at the time, a lot of parents wanted to go to other schools that were bigger and they considered better. But I just said, hey, if you guys stick with me, I promise it'll be worth your while.
That's what's up.
So from 17 kids to state champions, at what point did you see it turning? Like, what was the key in the turnaround?
I think so that first year, it was 17 kids. We won one game. Then the second year, we won 0 games. And then after that, that's when Tyler Johnson and that crew came in, and they were all freshmen. So I think what the turnaround was they all came in. Tyler obviously was playing quarterback, and eventually ended up moving to receiver in the NFL now. But it was one of those situations where I'm like, man, I just lost every game. What do I have to lose to start a group of freshmen? I don't have nothing to lose, because if they win 1 or 2 games, it's still different. It's still better than what we did the year before. So I think people in the community realize that I wasn't going to waste these kids' time with, just, hey, you're a 9th grader, you're a 10th grader, I'll get you ready, but then I'll start playing you when you're 11th or 12th grader. These kids are bouncing from couch to couch, house to house. I didn't have that time, and I didn't want to waste these kids' time. And I figured that if I gave kids the confidence and that they could help me, and if they weren't ready, obviously, but if they could help me, I was going to use them. And I think that's what got people attracted to come to play for me.
I always feel like inner city kids, the thing that is missing from them, they don't never have nobody to show them genuine love.
Yeah.
From the time that they born, it's all about scheming and getting over on each other. They go to the corner store, the dope fiends begging and trying to scheme and hustle them. So I always felt like if anybody show these kids some love and a little guidance, ain't no telling where they could end up. Yeah. Because they really want it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They really want to get out the hood. They really want to go to college, but they just don't know what street to take. And they always take the street that's most traveled. So I salute you for that, man.
Yeah, the biggest thing too is, you can preach to your blue, you're blue in the face, but being from the area, being there, like I'm telling kids, like, y'all, the rivals, the gang, whatever the rival gangs are, I lived on that block. You know what I mean? So like I walk to the school, like the same things that you guys encounter or do encounter every day at school. That's what I did when I was, with my dad being a cop, just the same area. So they could definitely relate to me, and I can relate to them. But yeah, the love portion is important, because I see them in me, like that's who I was. So it definitely, once they know that you fool with them, they're gonna run through a big wall for you, no doubt.
I believe that myself, Coach. I believe that myself. So why hasn't? Because Reese said you're the only public school in the state that ever won a state championship. Why do you think that is?
I mean, you know what it is, man. It's privilege, So I kind of had to break that stigma. It was just, I think a lot of the city schools are kind of limited themselves, and I just not that guy, man. I'm not that guy, because I always thought, like, I know how the college thing goes. I know that if I'm not on TV, or if I'm not in the state championship, if I'm not in the limelight, my kids aren't going to be seen the way they need to see. So I was determined to, like, hey, we got to be at a level where people can see us, man. A lot of guys are just complacent, and they're like, oh yeah, we won 3 games. Johnny got to come out. We got the lineup good. And I'm like, no, our kids deserve way more than that. Our kids should be in the limelight like everybody else. They should be on TV. They should be holding up rings. They should be doing all of that. And you got to speak it into existence. A lot of the coaches, we got really good coaches in the city, but they don't have that drive to say, you know what, I'm going to win a championship one day. They thought I was crazy when I said it, but I was like dead serious. And now it's like, even if I get there, obviously I got to win it, but it's not like I'm not cool with just getting there to the state tournament. Like, I got to win that thing, man.
So, Coach, a lot of people, a lot of young Black coaches especially, they get their start at schools like the one you coach at right now.
Yeah.
You get to take over a program that's very low level, that doesn't have a lot of kids, it's in the inner city, doesn't have funding, doesn't have the participation. What advice could you give those coaches? Because that's where most of us get our opportunity. I was at a school like that in my first opportunity. We had a great friend of ours, Trey Porter, who ran into some things here in St. Louis, and that's where he got his start at schools like that. And that goes on in St. Louis, in Minneapolis, in Chicago, in Memphis, wherever you look. That's where young Black coaches are getting their start. What can you tell them, and what's some of the advice you can give them that they can stay consistent and grow their program and not get discouraged by the things that they don't have? And what are some of the things that they can do to kind of close the gap between them and more well-funded programs?
Well, you got to quit making excuses. You got to quit making excuses that, well, you can't do this because of that. You also have the strong relationship and a bond with the parents that's in your community, along with, any businesses or anybody that invests in your community. Sometimes we, as men or Black folks, we worry about the wrong stuff, like how good we look. Obviously you want your kids to look good. If you look good, you play good. But let's focus on the things that actually get them what they need, opposed to just wanting to have brand new uniforms each year, but kind of just, focusing on it and getting a good group of coaches that you can trust and that that can follow the direction that you want to push these kids into.
I believe when you build it up, when you build it from the ground up, you write your own ticket.
That's right. That's right.
Like say for instance, the Fat Man, he built Luther North from the ground up. So he wrote his own check. He gonna be at Luther North till he decide to leave.
That's right. That's right.
But when you jump in like a program like in St. Louis, like if you was to go to CBC, Reed, you don't win in 2 years, they're gonna say you're a loser. Because why isn't he winning? This is CBC.
Yeah.
So I always think that it's better actually to build it from the ground up.
It is, and you hit it right on the head. That's you writing your own check right there.
A lot of guys, when you're dealing with Black coaches, and it's probably like this at all levels, well, it is. There's the opportunity is not the same. The community. Some of those schools are in, whether they private schools or big suburban public schools, a lot of them still don't identify with Black coaches. We're fortunate here in St. Louis that we do have a lot of Black coaches and a lot of the programs. And so that's kind of started to turn here for us. But they do want you to prove yourself at programs that have never really had success. And when you get one of those opportunities, man, you just got to take it and run with it and make the most out of it. It's like Coach Adams said earlier, you can make excuses with it, or you can come in and really just get the work done and be about the work. And if you can get that done, then like you just said, you can write your own ticket, and that really becomes your program. So anytime you think of Minneapolis North, you think of Coach Adams. Anytime I think about inner city football or public school football in the state of Minnesota, this is who I think of, and he's my go-to for everything. I think another thing that coaches have to do, especially young Black coaches, because one of the differences is I think that a lot of young Black coaches that get into high school coaching were really good players in some instances. And so the fact that they were good players, they think that gives them favor in coaching, and it doesn't. You still have to work. You have to be very committed to the work. So like I'm from St. Louis, coaches from Minneapolis, but we met in Iowa. We met in Des Moines, Iowa, at a coach's clinic, trying to learn, trying to get better. At the same time, we both were also speaking, so you have to travel and kind of get out. And if we both weren't in Iowa, then we wouldn't have met each other and we wouldn't be having this conversation now. But it was me stepping out of my comfort zone. Because I'll tell you this, Nunu, Bethany, who's a good friend of both of us, I wasn't going to go speak at the clinic. Right when I got the thing from Iowa, it was actually Corey Bethany who told me that I needed to start doing more of those kind of things, to broaden your reach a little bit, or I wouldn't have went if Corey Bethany hadn't pushed me to go.
Right,
So by being willing to step outside the box and do some things that you normally wouldn't do. And I met a lot of great people that weekend. I mean, it's probably the best coaching clinic that I had ever been to, in terms of that. Coach, I don't know if that was your first time or if you had been before. But it was a really neat clinic.
Yeah, that was my second time going, and I totally agree with you, Coach.
So Coach Adams, what is your main goal? Trying to get kids into college or building a powerhouse, or do they go hand in hand?
Man, I'm trying to get these dudes some money, man. Trying to get these dudes some money, and not necessarily, how you hear people escape the hood. No, I'm not talking about escape the hood. I want them to get what they deserve based off of what they do. The equality of, if you're a good athlete, you got good grades and you put in the work, you should be seen the same way as anybody else. But, given an opportunity to go somewhere, an opportunity to do something different for your family or whatnot. So the powerhouse is we always going to have athletes. We always going to have the guys. We're going to have those guys. But now my goal, I would say, is to dominate on that end of, 15, like Coach Reed, having 15, 20 guys getting offered up and going everywhere across the country. That's where I want to dominate at. And then people are like, man, these kids is from the hood. Like, yeah, that's what I'm on. I'm on that. Like the powerhouse, we passed that because we're gonna have guys, we're gonna be there every year. But I want to dominate on a trip on that level to where guys are getting scholarship offers and they can pick and choose where they want to go to.
So, Coach, tell us. You mentioned his name earlier. Tyler Johnson is kind of the guy who got the run going for you. Started off playing quarterback for you. At some point, he moved to receiver.
Yeah.
Played collegiately. Is in the NFL now. Kind of, what was it like coaching Tyler? What were the things that he did that was different than everybody else? And kind of give everybody his background on where he played in college and how that worked out for you. And how that benefited your program and the other kids in it.
Coaching Tyler was great for this program. I knew he was different his 9th grade year. We were just doing 7-on-7 stuff, and he came out. And at first he was saying, man, I'm going to private school, but he kept coming to our workouts. And I'm like, man, I hope I can keep this kid, man, because this kid can play. So he kept coming. Something happened where he couldn't go to the private school, and he said, well, Coach, I'm gonna give it a shot here and see how things go. And I'm like, good, boo, yeah, we're gonna make it work. But he literally was like a coach on the field. It was, Coach, what do you think? Or I'm thinking about this, Coach. And it was conversations that we had. It was never his leadership was everywhere, whether it was we were working on special teams, if we were working on offense, defense, because he obviously played everywhere because a lot of our guys play both ways anyway. But he was just like, Coach, hey, I got this idea. And it was just really special to hear him, pick your brain and say, hey, this is what I think we should do, Coach. He played quarterback all 4 years for us, but obviously when he went to the University of Minnesota, the Gophers, he ended up switching to receiver. And that was huge because kids from North Minneapolis do not go to the Gophers. They don't. So he was the first one ever for North High. And he was obviously, he done broke every record as a receiver for the Gophers, and he came from our school. So he really, got things started by not only being here in this program, but then going into U and tearing things up, and then now being drafted into the NFL.
That's great. Hey, do you still keep in touch with the kid, Tyler? Oh
yeah, and that's the best thing about him. That's why it's a blessing because he doesn't have to, but I'm his coach. You know what I mean? I was fortunate enough to be. He asked me to be a part of a lot of his decisions with this draft and NFL stuff, and I thought that was great. I was able to help him, find an agent. Contract stuff. It helped him, just kind of guidance. And he was constantly asking me about, just decisions that, I was kind of blessed to be a part of him asking me. He still calls and checks in. We check on each other. I would say our relationship, when he was playing for the Gophers, I would be nitpicky with him because I didn't want him to get complacent, and he always knew that. And he always wanted me to be truthful with him and not say, hey, man, oh, great, wonderful game. I'm just not that guy. So he knew, and he would admit that if he had 3 touchdowns, I'd be like, man, but you alligator armed that one in the second quarter coming across the middle. You know what I mean? Yeah, Coach, I know you're right. Like that's how a relationship is. And I think the more that I am with him with that, he looks towards, being consistent and keeping our relationship.
I always say, because in St. Louis, cats consider themselves a great coach about how many championships they win, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking high school, youth, all that, right? I believe the mark of a good coach is how many kids come back and come back and reach out to you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So when I'm listening to you talk, because now that you got that relationship with Tyler, that just opened the floodgate because all the other kids gonna be like, he helped Tyler, he can help me.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah,
and that's the way. That's the mindset. That's the mindset. They're looking like, well, yeah, if I do what Tyler did, I mean, I could be in the same position. We got a kid at Northern Iowa, Omar Brown. It was a starter as a freshman at cornerback. Body's league ready. He stayed for 2-3 more years. He's gonna be in the same position, but he's the same thing. He's like, hey, I'm seeing what Tyler's doing. He's leading by example. Hey, I got to do what he did so I can get to where he's at.
Right.
That's a good feeling when you see your dream and your hard work coming to fruition and it's starting to pay off. I bet I bet you want to sit back and just smoke you a stogie and be like, I got it.
The success is just seeing this each year and a year and having another name, another success story, and success isn't, just written based off of just going to NFL and being a top pick. It's just whatever your goals are and you are able to achieve it. If it was to complete the whole season, not get hurt and have fun and be a part of the team, and that was your goal, and I helped you accomplish that, that's my success right there with you.
Yeah. I always say I base my success off, is the kid better now than when I got him?
Yes.
Like if I got him in July and in November, is he better then? Then that was a successful season. The wins and losses will take care of themselves.
That's right.
That's what I always judge my success off of. When the season is over, can I look at every last one of them kids and say, you got better, you got better, you got better, and I played a small part in it.
That's what it is. That's it.
So, Coach, everybody, the George Floyd situation. George Floyd was killed by a police officer. It set off riots and protests throughout the country. You have a unique perspective because, number one, you live in Minneapolis. So you are ground zero, everything that was going on. Number two, you are a police officer, and so is your father. And number three, you are the coach of an inner city group of kids who I'm sure went through a lot of emotions with this situation, because it seems to be coming common throughout the country where we see white officers killing black men. How did it affect you? And number one, in terms of your job and everything that was going on, and also what knowledge were you able to give your kids in that situation, and how crazy was it in Minneapolis actually being there differently than what people see on TV in the city?
You know what? It was, to be honest with you, Coach, it was screwed up. So, and I don't know if you guys are too familiar, but the Minneapolis School Board, once this happened, they decided to end the contract with Minneapolis police officers working as SROs in the school resource officers, basically school liaison officers. That was my position for 10 years, working in the school with the kids. Unique position that I really took to heart and used to build relationships, but also, keep my boys out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Just, it wasn't based off of the prison to pipeline, rumors that people say. It was basically, I'd rather be in a school and be a law enforcement, and knowing if a kid is involved in something, I can deter that, and I can make sure that we handle it in-house, with administration in the school, and not put those kids in a position where they got to see the courts. That's what my position was in that school. So I felt personally that my job I was penalized because of what happened in that situation. And just so that I don't like every cop that I associate with, and we all like Derek. I don't even want to say his name. That dude ruined our fucking lives, man. He ruined my life for sure. I can't be with my boys, during the day no more. I'm back on patrol. I can't watch out what they're going. He ruined my life. Now my wife and my kids are a little bit more anxious because now I'm dealing with folks out in the community a little bit more than just dealing with my kids during the school. So that really hit me hard. But when it all came about, when I mean ground zero, like hats and bats. And I was literally in the trenches, the first night I was actually escorting a fire department to all the fires. So we were, man, getting stuff thrown at you, people shooting at you, and you got to guard you got to protect the firefighters. I had to get on the phone and I had to tell the team, like, hey, you know what? I don't even know, if I might be back, because I'm getting shot at.
Do you believe that we need some sort of police reform?
Absolutely.
Do you think the police is getting out of hand with this killing black people stuff?
Man, they don't know how to talk to us, man. They don't know how to talk to us, and that's the main thing. They think that everybody is a criminal, man. They think that everybody is up to wrongdoing, man. And some guys don't know how to take the time to even just have a conversation because they always want to rush people and get irritated when people are asking for help. That's the biggest problem, not knowing how to treat people. When I got to my shift, I told guys, I said, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, we're gonna go to calls and we're gonna be in the hood and somebody gonna roll up on us and be like, coach. That's just love, man. That's just love. I'm from this hood. It's gonna be mama's, auntie's, grandma running up crime scene. They don't care. They're coming to give me a hug. That's just how it is. And some of the guys was like, oh, I just, talk to these folks, man, because there's a lot more people that want us that don't want us.
I got a black friend, Clayton Foreman. He's a police, and he said the same thing that you said. He said the number one thing with white police, they don't understand black culture. Yeah. And the example he gave, he said, for instance, when you talk to a black person, a lot of times they talk with their hands.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But the white officer interprets that as negativity, or when black people talk, they get loud.
Yep.
And when white cops see a guy flailing his hands and talking loud, they automatically assume that it's a threat. Yep. And he was saying that the biggest thing is the miscommunication gap. Mm-hmm. And I was telling him that society as a whole paints black men in a negative light.
Absolutely.
So I don't think all white people are racist. I just believe that the media and the television outlets pump negative black image to them.
Yeah.
So when they walking down the street and they see, my son goes to the University of Texas.
Okay.
But if a white person seen him walking down the street, they would be fearful of him.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely harmless. All he wants to do is catch a 5 and out. That's all he want to do.
Yeah.
So how do you think we as black people should go about trying to change things, or do you think it falls solely in the lap of the police?
No, it doesn't. It does not fall in the lap of the police. I mean, we definitely got to do our part, and we gotta value the community that we work in. You hear people say, let's get more people that look like us and more people from the community. I disagree with that because I know how janky some black folks can be, and I live close to where I work at, but I know damn well that don't nobody want to work in the city where you policing exactly. Like, they don't want to work in that neighborhood. Some of the cops probably work in the next neighborhood over, but you got to just take value of where you're at and understand that these people are here and that you got to treat them with respect. But I also get pissed when people say the black on black crime stuff. Like, that's stupid. Like, it's crime. It doesn't matter. Like,
let me ask you this, Coach. Do you believe that police officers should live in where they police at?
Well, see, it's different because I grew up on the north side. So like my granddaddy, my grandma, like we own houses there. So like it's different. I'm on the north side. I'm there, and they know damn well to not mess with none of the properties that we got. They just know. But I think that would help, but it's not realistic because there could be a lot of guys that want to work in this city, but can bring value to it if they don't live here. And I think it should be a thing where you should be closer. Not coming from Wisconsin and, coming in every day, but you should live close to the city if you want to work for Minneapolis.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. I see a lot of, remember the kid, the black guy who got shot in South Carolina. He was running and police shot him in the back, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And had not the guy recorded it, all of the guys that was out there that day, they police report justified what the dude did, but it was a false police report. And one of the officers there was a black guy. So I'm trying to understand the mindset of a black police officer. For instance, if you was there when George Floyd was getting his neck choked on, what would you have done?
I honestly, first of all, it's common sense. You know, I finally got to see the body cam that was leaked out from a news thing. And, you know, the two guys that initially had him, they were trying to, you know, you could say that you could tell that he didn't want to be in a squad car because he was claustrophobic, whatever. The whole part of it is the one officer, when he had his knee on him, to me, I looked at it as that was control issue. Because the more that guy that was recording him and said, hey, get off of him, the more that in his eyes, he was like, man, I ain't getting off. Not now that you're saying something, I ain't doing it. And that's our problem too, that a lot of dudes got control issues. They figure that they're superior to the people. It would have been simple to me. I would have just flat out said, man, get off of that dude, man. Get off.
Would you the winners as far as getting them off of him yourself?
I would have yanked him. I would have yanked him off. I would have yanked him off and said, let him sit there until the ambulance gets here. You can sit there. He can't get up. He's in handcuffs. That dude's taller than me. Big guys don't work well in handcuffs. He's not going anywhere. So if you sit there and say, you know what? He said he got medical conditions. I'm going to wait till the ambulance comes. I'm going to just sit there and wait. He's already on the ground.
Do you think police officers should go at least once a year for a psychological evaluation?
Once a year? Maybe twice a year.
I would have said every 6 months, but that probably
we've got a bunch of guys going out for PSTD. Yeah, there are, but you know, some people are like, are they just trying to leave because they feel certain type of way or whatever? But like, I think it should be more than once, because a lot of people, they only get it when they come in, and that's it.
So annually, they should have at least 2 psych evaluations per year.
Why not? Why not? I mean, you got to be. You know, you got to be fit for duty. You got to be able to be able to work here, and you got to be able to do what is asked of you. You got to be mentally right.
So, Coach, because of the George Floyd situation and the fallout of it, the school district severed their ties with Minneapolis Police. So you built this program, you saved hundreds of lives, and you lost your job in the building as a result of the George Floyd situation. So now you're no longer in the school building during the day with your players. Yeah.
Bottom line, you know, and I've heard comments like, oh, our SROs are great. And, you know, Coach Adams is the example of how the program should be. But we got to cut ties with Minneapolis. And people are like, well, if he is the example of what it should be, why is he penalized? So, but you know what I've told my kids and my parents and the community, like, hey, I'm blessed. You know, I have enough seniority to where I was actually moved to that precinct, where the school's at, working day watch patrol and same hours, and I can just, you know, nothing really changed. I can get off the same time. I'm fine.
Right, and so you can still, it still worked out for you to be able to stay on as the coach.
Yep, absolutely.
So you kind of said this earlier, you mentioned it, because as I'm hearing about the constant issues between the police officers and killing black men, the first thing that everybody comes to and says is, well, what about black on black crime? That seems to be the defense. And it also, to a degree, becomes something that black folks also throw up in the mix. What are your thoughts on when somebody says, well, Coach, what about black on black crime? You know, what are your thoughts on that?
See, that's not a conversation that's happening within our community. That's happening outside in comments from other people that are from the outside looking in. I hear that all the time, but what's really happening right now is that young, old, whatever criminals there are, they are taking advantage of the narrative of the disconnect with the community and the police. So they're really feeling like, you know what, we can do whatever we want right now because we know that the police are kind of just backing off. And at some point, some of the guys are, you know.
I'm gonna say this: when I hear people say black on black crime, you gotta understand that white people kill white people too, right? So is there such thing as white on white crime? And then the other thing is this: when they say black on black crime, when Pookie murdered Ray, Pookie go to jail for life.
Yep.
When Officer Charlie killed John, he get a GoFundMe account started for him, and he get a paid leave.
Yeah.
And he gets shipped to another district, and he gonna be a hero.
Yeah, you're right. And that's where it starts with, definitely the reform, and things got to be done. With the whole defund the police model, I
think they worded it wrong when they said,
and that was just one thing that I don't think anybody could understood, because from my knowledge, I thought that every year the police department is defunded in some way, either way. So I'm like, what are they talking about? The word
defund, that scared everybody, because it's a negative talk. It's saying as if we taking y'all guns, you ain't gonna have no more bullets, your squad cars. And that's what I'm saying about how the media controls. Like when they said defund the police, white people got scared. What do you mean? Defund them and send the white people in the pen. This my thing, Coach Adams. I ain't lying. 2 years ago, when they said that in 20 years, white people will be the minority in this country, they lost their mind. I ain't playing. I think when they put that stuff out 2 years ago, that in 20 years, blacks, Mexicans, and Arabs would outnumber white people. White people lost their mind, man.
Yeah.
They lost their mind and they went into a panic frenzy, and now they trying to do any and everything to always be right. Like that's what they always want to do.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. And the seeing the rapid success of the minorities is a threat. It's a threat. Even in the football world. And really, a quick story about the hate of success. I remember when I won the championship, me and my daddy we were walking at halftime to the locker room, and the trophy for the state championship was sitting on like the ledge at US Bank Stadium. And the first place trophy, it had the other team's picture in there. What? Wow. Man, I went. Talk about motivation, and we were winning. Yeah. Man, I went up in there and I was like, they got their, you know what I said.
Yeah, I know what you said.
So that was the thing. Like, and then when you win, you look at all the guys and they sick that you won it. Yeah. And you turn it up with your boys how we supposed to do. We dance or whatever, because they're sick, because they're like, there's no way these dudes should have came in here and won.
And the funny part about it is, like, white people love everything about us except us.
Yeah.
They love our swag. They love the way, like, for instance, in college football, a lot of the kids now are being more socially aware.
Yeah.
And take my son's school, for instance, the Texas fan base, they losing their mind.
Yeah.
Take their scholarship. They should just be happy to be at school. Like they still got that good old boy slave mentality. Like, just be happy.
Mm-hmm. Just be happy.
And that's crazy, man. So as a go ahead, Reed.
That is, with the Pac-12 situation that's going on now too. You see a lot of the fans and a lot of the people involved that do want these guys to just shut up and be quiet. But this younger generation is unafraid, to press for those changes. They're aggressive in a way that's completely different than the older guys who came before them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I always felt like this. In the black community, we got way too many soldiers and not enough generals.
Yeah.
Like these kids that get out here and protest, and they'll tear a town down. But if they had somebody to be out there on the front lines with them and guide them and lead them, man, they'll be powerful. Because like you said, they fearless. They don't, they all they know is, we got to change stuff. And what you doing, Coach Adams, by being on the front lines with the kids, man, I got to salute you for that, bro. Especially as a police.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the kids, is he really with us or is he with them? That's in their mind. And you know what I'm saying? You study beating in their head. Yo, I'm with y'all. We look alike. I'm not with them. So I salute you for that.
They get it though, and they use it. So the best thing, and my daddy's a commander. So my daddy's in charge of all the violent crimes now, like homicide, assault, like he's in charge of that. So the best thing about that is those kids know, and the police department know, like, if you run into one of my boys, you better get a hold of me. You better not do nothing until you get a hold of me, and I don't care what rank you are. And that's been really good for us, because if a kid, gets stopped or pulled over, and they, the cop will be like, well, what school you go to? Yeah, I go to North. Oh yeah, let me call your coach real quick. Yeah, so, yeah, let me call your coach real quick. And no, I got him, officer. You can let him go. I'll get him tomorrow. So we've definitely established that. But there's also been kids that act like they can hide from me, and then they get told on anyway. And that's how it should be. A lot of the cops now, with my dad, and they rather for us to deal with them, which is good.
That's what's up.
And that's how it should be in community policing.
That's working together though. That's putting the kids in a situation that they can be successful, because when you talk about discipline, you're using discipline to try to change behavior, not just to punish. So if you can get the kids' behavior changed, through that model of policing, through that model of discipline, then that is the best possible situation for them. Now, Coach, another thing to touch on this before we let you go, COVID-19 has been impacting everybody in the country. And I just saw, I think yesterday, where they say, is Minnesota moving football to the spring?
Yeah, they're moving it to the spring. So no really plan. The most we've got right now is it'd be a March to May type of season. Mm-hmm. And then May to July for track and baseball and stuff like that. We still got snow in March, so
yeah, it's a different kind of cold up there. It ain't
gonna be 40 below. I will say that the last 2 years we had a couple games that was like 10, 15 below, and I don't even know how these kids even survived with that. So we will avoid that. But
what are your thoughts on the move into the spring? Good idea, bad idea? Are you for it or against it?
Obviously, being a football coach, I was not happy about it, but I got to look at the greater good, that if it gives the kids an opportunity to play, I'm for it. Opposed to just, not having a season at all. If we do have an opportunity, whether it's 6, 8 games, however, I'm good with that. My thing is now from, August to November, what are we doing with these kids? Yeah. Like, you expect us just to come back in March? Like, that's my worry. Like,
now, are you guys doing online learning? Are you guys doing virtual learning? Or are they going into the school building?
They're doing online. They're starting online. So the kids won't even be in school starting off for the first quarter at least.
So my concern about kids being online is I think that it's I don't see thousands of kids sitting in the house in front of a computer every day doing schoolwork, right? Yeah. I don't see that. So my thing is, what are these kids doing during the day? Are they terrorizing neighborhoods? Are they getting in fights? Are they not doing their work?
But what if like while the kids at school doing virtual school, their parents got to work?
Yeah, so it's no supervision whatsoever.
And school is like a learning center, a daycare learning center. You know what I'm saying? They watch the kids for a couple hours and they learn. And I'm with you, Reed, with this virtual learning. If he wasn't going to class at the school, he really ain't finna get on the computer and be like, yo, I got class at 8:30.
Yeah, exactly. You got kids that still, I heard a couple of kids, at our workouts the other day, they were like, yeah, man, I'm gonna make that money. And I'm like, man, no, y'all gotta log in. Y'all don't think this is an opportunity for y'all to still be working at Little Caesars or whatnot. Like, no, you guys gotta y'all gotta do y'all work. So it's I know that our district has supplied almost every kid the right the computer and the hot spots and stuff like that, but that was just something on the fly last year, when basically everybody was just like, hey, log in, do your work, boom, let's go. I don't think they've got a true understanding of how it's going to go starting in the fall.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things that the community, that kids, that parents can do to help keep kids out of trouble during this time where they're doing virtual learning and they're not in school? Like, what are some of the things that, from a police officer's perspective, that they could be doing to help curb kids from getting into trouble?
Well, it starts with just, even just following the guidelines they say with the COVID. Kids should be probably staying at home and completing their work during the day. And then if we're allowed, whatever waiver period to have kids continue to practice, their extracurricular activities should be that. And it should be limited basically to, doing your schoolwork and coming to the extracurricular activity to keep you. Because I figure I have to continue to have something going on, because me not having the kids do anything until March, we're shook. It just won't work. It won't work. We have to have these kids engaged, whether it's 2 days a week or, whatever it is, until, basketball season starts. We have to.
So, Coach, the last thing I really want to say, man, is just I appreciate you coming on. You've had massive success. You work really hard. I would like for all of the young coaches that are coaching in schools identical to yours throughout the inner cities in the country to be looking at your program for inspiration, to be looking at you. If a coach wants to get in contact with you via social media or anything like that, where can they follow you at on social media so they can have some kind of access to you?
Yeah. So, man, let me see. I think it's Spank OA. I'm not good with it. I mean, I use it, but I don't know I think it's Spank OA is my Twitter, or it's one of those concoctions, but I use it a lot. I just don't say what the name is to it. But anybody hit me up on Twitter. If you even put Charles Adams or whatever, it'll probably come up like OA, Coach OA or something like that. But like I said, I respond quickly, but I'm just like you, Coach. I'm willing just to reach out to any coach and learn. I'm humble. You know what I mean? I haven't figured it out. I mean, when I first talked to you, I'm like, hey, what else do I need to do? You know what I mean? So like, that's how I am. Like, I don't got it all. I don't got it all. I got to get it. And so I'm willing to fellowship with any coach and any person that's willing to teach me anything different that helps my boys out.
I got to get with. I was talking to Darren Sunken from East St. Louis earlier. I got to get with Sunk, and maybe we can get you guys down here to the classic.
And we talked about that. I was able to meet Coach Sunky because my cousin Keisha Adams is on the school board, so she was able to introduce me to him. But she's been trying to get it. She's been trying to get it cracking for a couple years. So
yeah, I get with Sunk and see if we can get you down here for the classic and play one of the teams down here. It'll be an incredible experience for your boys, and we get some things going on for them. Coach, man, we appreciate you, man. You're a godsend for your community and for the kids, and it's refreshing to see college coaches. You want to make sure, man, that you recruit Minneapolis North in this program. Some of the big programs throughout the country that are looking for a quality opponent to play that's going to bring a lot of talent and a great state championship winning program to some of your events. Look up Coach Charles Adams at Minneapolis North High School.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I just want to say, I appreciate you fellas. Y'all run up the score is the bomb. I mean, I'm from afar. I know I'm liking everything Coach Reed puts out. So, and I just, it's just like I said, it's just a blessing to be affiliated with you guys and be able to be on the show.
All right, what's up? Hey, good luck, bro.
Hey,
you guys got my number, man. You guys can always call me. It don't have to be, we brothers. It don't have to be about no football stuff. We can talk intensely about other things. And if you guys are ever up here, you better call me. Call me.
I'm gonna be up there because I got two kids that play for the Gophers. Right now we got Devion Harris and Octavian Tank Brown. I'll say this while we on the air. Nunu saved Tank Brown with me. Like Nunu was very instrumental
Don't tell nobody that, Reed. I'm your boy behind the scenes.
That's
Never
right.
tell nobody that.
Hey,
I'm your partner behind the scenes.
I gotta give him his due, man. He was very instrumental in helping Tank get out, and we excited about what those guys are gonna do at Minnesota. So I'm definitely gonna be up there checking them out.
You definitely hit me, and I will show you around the town. We got a brand new field that's opening up, turf, lights, all that kind of stuff, and we'll hit the spots in the hood where to go eat, where the good food's at.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You don't take me nowhere to a Chinese restaurant because we got the best Chinese food in St. Louis.
No question.
Man, I got in East St. Louis. I got tons of family down there. That's why. So I know the gist about the Chinese food. I know that. But what is it? The St. Paul? What they call it?
Yeah, that's right. The St. Paul.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say, Coach, before we get you off here, you're a young black teenage male. You get pulled over or stopped by an officer. What are the rules of engagement? Give some knowledge and some tips real quick on how you need to handle yourself in that situation.
Man, just keep your hands where they can be seen and just answer questions. Don't have an opinion. If they're asking you a question, you just answer it. And I know that sucks for us to have to do that, but it's a matter of now, is your life valuable? If all it takes for you to keep your hands visible and you answer the questions that are asked to you and it keeps you safe, I think that's a small price to pay just to do.
All right.
Right on, Coach. We appreciate you for coming on, man. We'll get with you later on.
Right on. God bless y'all, brothers.
All right, bro.
All right. Take care.
No doubt.
All right.
Charles Adams built a legendary program at Minneapolis North High School in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And right now, he's under extreme pressure and trying to guide those young men through one of the country's roughest times. Imagine, because of the fallout of the George Floyd situation, you lose your job in the building because the relationship deteriorated between the school district and the police force. That's kind of the things that you have to overcome when coaching in the inner city. But Charles Adams has continued to lead his program with grace and dignity, and he's built a big-time program, and we're excited to see what he continues to do and the miracles he makes happen. This is the Run Up the Score podcast. Keep working.